Now, you know that I do not like drama. So when I was come for recently by a so-called filmmaker on Twitter, I was just gonna leave it alone. Well, at least my version of leave it alone. I wasn't gonna make a video about it. However, since he continues to want to sully my good name, I'm gonna have to bring back On Blast Productions. So, get into this. I was following someone on Twitter named Andy. I would see him retweet it or whatever. He was kind of funny. So I said, okay, I'll follow him. Little did I know that he is obsessed with drama. Now, I don't like drama, but I, do like to observe every now and then. So I was like, okay, let me get a few kikis. Not realizing that he literally just starts shit with people nonstop so that he could gaslight them and make them feel like they're wrong and he's right and go off on anybody that doesn't agree with him, call everybody ableist and transphobic and anything and everything just to try to make himself feel like he's right and like he's some kind of activist when really he just gets mad when people disagree with him or don't give him enough attention. So at this point, I muted him quite a lot because I didn't want him to, get in his feelings and be like, why did you unfollow me? Because he checks like who follows him and all that. And at the end of the day, like, I don't really care, but I was like, clearly he's not emotionally stable. So I don't want to send him off the deep end and all that. So, since he interacted with me a lot, I just left it alone. So he talked about he was going to make a movie. And I was like, what's my part? Jokingly, and he was like, I'll write a part for you. So I was like, okay, sure, I want to be in videos. I like videos. Sounds great. So he ends up sending me a script, if you can call it that, which was full of grammatical and spelling errors. If you're going to write a script, make sure you know how to have at least a good grasp on the English language. Now, he has a degree. What it's in, I don't know. Underwater basket weaving, who knows? But it was already, I was like, damn, what did I get myself into? So I was like, okay, let me look at it or whatever. And I told him, I was like, I don't really do scripts. I just kind of improv, but I'll see what I can do. And we were going to record on Skype. So he kept rescheduling. He kept saying, I didn't get my equipment. I forgot. I fell asleep. Unprofessional as fuck. However, he paid me. I told him, I was like, you don't need to pay me. Like, I like to make videos. It's fine. But he gave me $25. So I felt like I was obligated to continue to be a part of this. Even though typically I would have just been like, yeah, never mind. But since I already took his money, I was like, well, all right. So he kept rescheduling. Finally, I was like, look, why don't I just film my part and send it to you? And mind you, he gave me no direction, no anything. He was like, just be yourself. Just do it, however you want to do it. So that's what I did. So I had on a wig and I have the decorations from my Halloween little birthday get together, which was like, skulls and shit like that, spooky shit, I guess, and put it behind me, lit some candles. I thought it looked pretty cute. I thought I looked cute. And I just read the lines to myself. I kept having to stop to read it because I had nobody to go off of. But I edited it in a way to where it could flow if he had his part, my part, his part, my part. And I had mentioned to him that I didn't intend to send it that night because he was rushing me like, well, can you send it immediately? And I was like, well, I'm high, but I'll try. Now, y'all know I like to get high, clearly. But I was not high when I was recording it. I was just high as I was trying to edit and convert it and send it to him. So typically I don't really, edit and stuff like that while high. But all I had to do was just cut out the dead spaces of me stopping to reposition or whatever. And I had little props. I had Kiki and all that type of stuff. And I sent it to him and he was like, oh, yes, I love it. Oh, it's great. And mind you, I keep my receipts, so I got lots of screenshots. But he's like, oh, I love it. It's great, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And then the next day or however long after that, he was like, oh, yeah, I'm only going to be able to use the audio for this because my film is actually very dark and this was more comedic. Now, I don't consider myself a comedian, but what the fuck did he think I was going to do? If he's seen my videos and he's telling me be myself and do what I want to do, then what the fuck? And didn't you just love it yesterday? What happened? And I was like, okay, so I did all that for fucking nothing, but fine. And when I recorded it, this is the Malachi character, the little psychic or whatever, who's been in 2 other videos of mine. I recorded all of that all together. I was like, shit, I'm dressed up. I might as well record some more shit. So I did it all at once. So what you saw, I basically recreated all the same thing. Something just told me. I was like, I felt like he gonna pull some bullshit. So I kind of just reused a lot of the same little gags or whatever in my video because I figured even if he uses all of this, ain't nobody gonna watch his video. So, why waste my comedic talents? And from what you see from those of you that watch those videos, Vivian calls a therapist, and then it was in Miss Blueberry's, what the fuck was it, Choice. And I feel like that was, cute, to say the least. But I digress. He's like, oh, this is dark, whatever. Now, he never said, can you refilm it? Can you do this? Can you do that? It was just like, I'm not using it. So I was like, okay. And then he was like, oh, I found out a way. I'm going to use it. So I'm going to include it. You're going to love it. It's going to be great. Okay, fine. So then when the time comes where the movie comes out, he didn't use it. He used my audio and like held up his phone with a picture of me on it. Okay. So I was like, whatever. I watched it up to my part and that was it. That was the most boring shit. And I'm not just saying that because I'm, annoyed with him. I said that the day of. And if anybody is that curious, I have voice recordings of me talking to my friend Pam. And we both were like, what the fuck is this? And I watched it with my boyfriend and I was like, is it just me? I was like, is this just really bad? And he was like, I really cannot sit through this. I cannot wait till your part comes on. We can turn it off. Because it made no sense. It was just him walking around his apartment, talking on the phone. And it didn't make any sense. I'm not even going to be like it was just bad. It just made no sense. I don't know what was going on. His acting was terrible. Terrible. Terrible, Your Honor. But I was like, okay, I'm not going to shit on nobody because there's people who don't like my video. So it is what it is. But I was pissed off that I got cut out. So I was like, hey, everybody, look at this movie I'm going to be in. And because he put the trailer out. But then after I knew I got cut out, I fucking deleted that. And I didn't post nothing else about it. I'm not going to promote this for my little voice clip. I can see if that was all I submitted. But fuck that. And then he asked me how I wanted to be credited in it. And I said Barrett TV. He just put Barrett. He didn't link anybody to anybody's pages in the description. He didn't tag me in anything on Twitter. It's like it was just all about him and fuck any contribution anybody else had. So I was like, fuck it. I commented just because I felt like it would be shady not to comment at all. So I was just like, when's the sequel? But I definitely put a dislike on it because I didn't like it. And I didn't finish it. So maybe it got great at the end. But the other people, it was just their voices. And I'm thinking, did they record all this shit and he just left them out too? So the person that actually got to be in it, when I was watching, when I had talked to Pam about it, she was like, why you got this cute boy playing his boyfriend? Because Andy looks like a fucking genie. He's fat and bald, or Buddha, whatever. And he's like 34. This kid is like 21 and, slim, decent looking. And she was like, why is this his boyfriend? I wouldn't be surprised if he made this whole video just so he could get him in it and have him playing his boyfriend. And I laughed or whatever, only for it to come out recently that this 21-year-old is being harassed and stalked by Andy, the 34-year-old genie. And by the way, the movie's called He Who Calls. If you want to look it up, it should be He Who Went to Voicemail because it was fucking terrible. But I'm not going to link it, but you can look for it if you want to find it. Anyway, he was harassing this boy because he's DMing him, telling him that he likes him and he has feelings for him. And the guy wasn't, Shy is his name. He wasn't interested. And Andy got upset and kept sending him like paragraphs, like 13 messages in a row and trying to call him out and saying he was going to cancel him because apparently Shy had, I guess, flirted with somebody on Twitter that ended up telling him, oh, by the way, I'm 17. And he didn't know it. He's like, oh, sorry, I didn't know. So then Andy's like, I'm going to tell everybody that you're a pedophile because you're trying to talk to these young kids. And he just sounded fucking insane and obsessed. And basically the only reason he put him in the movie was because he liked him. And then when the guy didn't like him back, he went on this tirade. And he's tweeting and trying to drag him. And people are like, you're doing too much. What the fuck? So he's getting mad that people aren't agreeing with him. And he's trying to blame it on his mental health and say, oh, well, I'm not well. And this is why I did this. Then he apologized to the boy and sent him money for being an asshole. And then he took his apology back and said, actually, I'm not sorry. Send me my money back. And this boy is like trying to, I guess he's an up and coming singer or something. He's like scared that this is going to ruin his chances because Andy has, a lot of followers and he's trying to convince everybody how horrible this guy is when he really didn't do anything other than say, I don't like you back. Sorry. Why would he like you? I mean, look at him and look at you. Just saying. And you're fucking nuts. So there's that. Call it ableist, whatever you want. You're fucking nuts. So I'm watching all this, like, because this is very interesting. I'm like, wow, I'm in this little movie and it brought all of this. And I messaged the boy Shaw because he was so worried that people were gonna, think this about him. And I was like, I've been following Andy for a while, and this is very on brand for him. I'm not surprised. I don't think anybody with any common sense is gonna believe that you're a pedophile and that you did all these horrible things to him that he's lying about. You should be good. And he was like, oh, thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. Can you say that publicly? And I was like, well, I really wasn't gonna say anything. But, if it'll make you feel better, I responded to the original thread that his friend had posted about the situation, basically saying the same thing that, Andy probably did do all this because this is something he would do. He does this to other people all the time. And that, I mentioned the whole situation about how he cut me out of it and how I feel like the only person he wanted in it was Shot. So I guess Andy didn't like that because I woke up to him sending me a message and he blocked me talking about how I was high in my clips and it was choppy and my it was horrible and it wasn't good and I forgot lines. First of all, I said all the motherfucking lines. Second of all, I was not high because he keeps mentioning the fact that I was high because he's been tweeting about it. I was not high. But if I was, what does that have to do with anything? It was still good. But you know how many artists work while high? But he was talking about how he hated it or whatever. You said you loved it. So either you were lying then or you're lying now. That is something I hate. When people want to save face so they go back and talk shit. Like when a guy hits a girl up and she's not interested and he's like, you ugly anyway. Was she ugly when you were trying to talk to her? I fucking hate that shit. Like Diamond, who used to be Just for Kiki's and we did videos together or whatever, she's fucking dragged my dead grandmother, said all kind of fucked up shit. But I've never been like, fuck her video, she wasn't funny on that anyway, and she was boring and blah, blah, blah. No, she was still funny. That doesn't take away from the fact that it was funny just because I don't fuck with her. I would never go back and say that because that's not true. So for him to go back and say it was bad just because he's in his feelings is so fucking annoying. And then he blocked me. Clearly he couldn't take because he knew he would fucking get dragged. But even if he thought all of that, you could have just said, hey, can you redo it? But he didn't do that. He said he loved it and then cut it out. Anyway, he kept tweeting about me and saying how I was high and how I had a convenience store wig on with Halloween decorations. Now I know he ain't talking because he filmed this in his apartment and it looked like he is in a third world country. Like the Evans family had a better living arrangement than this bullshit that he's living in. And I'm not one to, be classist and egregious and shame people for how they live. If he wants to have, live in squalor with these meager accommodations at his big age, that is certainly his right. But don't be trying to come for my set design when your actual living situation looks like fucking shit. No real furniture. It just looked horrible. So don't worry about what's going on over here. Get you some decorations over there, boo. Anyway, I just felt like, how was he coming for me? Like, you blocked me, but you're still tweeting about me. And I didn't go check. Somebody sent it to me because I was like, I don't want to see nothing because I can't reply to it. And I'm not about to get on another Twitter. You big and bad, or maybe just big. So say it with some, some bravado. Say it like you mean it. Shout it out. Say it to where I can reply to it and not be a little fucking bitch. But that's fine. You can be a bitch. And he's currently still getting dragged about this. And I just feel like that is so late. That is like the latest thing you can do. You make this movie just because you're trying to talk to this boy that is so much fucking younger than you. And even though he's legal, this is some Jada Pinkett and August type shit, entanglement. Like you're trying to groom somebody that's younger than you and, influence them and take advantage. And that's fucking not right. And then you cut me out or whatever. You could just left me out altogether. I don't need his features on that little bullshit ass movie. And he got mad because people weren't supporting it and unfollowing him and everything and saying how maybe I just won't make anything else. Maybe make something that's fucking good. I'm not saying Barry TV is just the epitome of hilarity and, entertainment, but shit, that fucking bullshit was horrible. So maybe that's why nobody watched it, because it fucking sucked. Anyway, you want to try to drag me and talk all this shit now that you're fucking mad, when just the other day he was retweeting me because somebody mentioned the character, which I'm glad she liked the little voice clip. That's all she got. But he was retweeting it and, trying to give me my cuts, I guess. So are you a fake ass bitch or what? Like, did you like the part? Did you not like the part? Are you just mad now because you got called out? Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Be consistent at least. But now he's talking about people are bullying him and he's feeling suicidal. So what, you gonna kill yourself because you got called out for being fucking trash and people aren't believing your gaslighting ass bullshit? trying to convince people that, you know, you're right. Because he unblocked me and messaged me today saying, oh, I'm going to re-upload it and cut you out of it. I'm going to get some help and you should too. I don't give a fuck that you cut me out. I didn't even watch the whole thing. I know what else is watching it clearly. So what the fuck do I care? Cut me out. I got my $25. But I need to get some help. Ain't nothing wrong with me, boo. You're the one that needs some help. And then he blocked me again before I could say anything. Like, what is the point? He is a grown ass fucking man and he needs to get a damn life. Clearly he gets his self-importance off of the internet and that's how he feels like he's somebody. And now that his little internet persona is being questioned, he feels like he has nothing else left. Maybe he doesn't. I don't fucking know. I don't give a shit. I said what I had to say about it. And you can run tell that. Send to him. I don't give a fuck because I know he ain't about to come over here and whoop my fucking ass. He can't even handle a internet lashing from me because he blocked me knowing he would get dragged. And you're right. You are getting dragged because you're a piece of shit. You fucking suck. Your movie sucked. You're annoying. And I don't appreciate that shit. And yeah, I took it there. I sure the hell took it there. I don't give a damn what Michelle Obama said. You go low, I'm going motherfucking lower. Shit. Anyway, I feel justified in what I said. Because you started it. And I don't appreciate you trying to make Brad to be some kind of drug addict. But that being said, just disclaimer, hope he don't kill himself because I ain't trying to get blamed for it. But, you know. Anyway, get some help, motherfucker. Because people who are psychotic and it's not treated, it can be really ugly. And he clearly is going off the deep end and feeling justified with his actions, which is ridiculous. But, oh well.